So, I'm a 29-year-old guy, and I work in software development. For the last 3 years, my world pretty much revolved around my girlfriend. She's 27 and a full-time aspiring influencer, which is a nice way of saying I paid for the apartment and all our bills while she took artistic photos of her food. I didn't really mind. I loved her and I believed in her, even when her career seemed to involve more complaining about social media algorithms than actually creating content. But over the last year, her self-confidence morphed into some next-level entitlement. The more followers she got, the less respect she seemed to have for me. The final argument started over something completely ridiculous. I had a critical project deadline at work, a massive software launch my team had been grinding on for months. I told her a week in advance that I'd be working late on Friday and couldn't make it to the launch party for a friend's new jewelry line. This was, apparently, the worst thing I could have ever done. She stood in the living room with her arms crossed, looking at me like I'd just canceled Christmas. So you're just choosing work over me? I'm supposed to show up alone and tell everyone my boyfriend couldn't be bothered to support me. I tried to stay calm. It's not a choice. It's my job. The same job that pays for this apartment, your car, and the camera you use to build your brand. Wrong move. Her eyes narrowed. This was her signature move, the final play in any argument she was losing. She'd say it with this smug confidence, like she was holding a royal flush. You always throw that in my face, she scoffed, taking a step back. You act like I don't have other options. I can walk away from all this. You know, I have guys, actual men, begging for a chance with me in my DMs. Men who would drop everything to be there for me. She just stood there, smiling, waiting for me to fall apart. This was the part where I was supposed to panic, apologize, and promise I'd be there. In her mind, the threat of leaving was her ultimate leverage, the trump card that meant she always won. But this time I was just done. Done with the games, the manipulation, and feeling like a walking ATM. I looked at her, then at the front door of the apartment that was in my name only. And just like that, the fear was gone, replaced by this strange sense of calm. I met her eyes and said, without a trace of emotion, "Great, there's the exit." Her smirk didn't just fade, it shattered. Her mouth hung open a little. You could see her brain trying to compute and outcome her entire worldview, said was impossible. She was expecting me to beg. She got a calm agreement instead. What did you just say to me?" she stammered. I said, "There's the exit." I repeated, pointing to the door. "You said you can walk away to guys who are begging for you. Sounds like you have a solid plan. I won't stop you." The silence in the room was deafening. She just stared at me, completely stunned. The entire power dynamic of our relationship had just been upended, and she was in freefall. Finally, her anger rebooted. "Fine," she yelled, grabbing her purse. "Fine. But don't come crying to me when you see me happy with someone who actually values me." She stormed out, slamming the door so her picture on the wall rattled. I heard her stomping away. I stood there, waiting for the wave of regret to hit me. It never came. I just felt quiet. I put my phone on silent and got back to work. She expected me to call. I didn't. The next morning, I saw the text she'd sent overnight. They went from confused, "Okay, your joke isn't funny anymore," to angry, "You are so immature," to manipulative, "I can't believe you'd throw 3 years away like this." I read them all, deleted them, and then blocked her number. I needed clarity. With her gone, I started noticing things. It started with a credit card statement wedged under a magazine. It was addressed to her from a bank I didn't recognize. I co-signed her main card, which I paid off every month. This was something else. I opened it. The balance was over $8,000. The purchases were all designer brands and a weekend spa trip I'd never even heard about. A cold feeling crept over me. I started searching. In the back of her closet, in an old shoebox, I found more statements. 3 different credit cards, all open in her name over the past year. I laid them out on the floor. The total debt was just over $23,000. It was a monument to a lifestyle she was secretly funding. At the bottom of the box, I found the final piece. A printed receipt for a security deposit on a 2-bedroom apartment. The lease was set to begin in 2 weeks. And the second name on the application as her co-tenant was her ex-boyfriend. It all clicked into place. The fights, the entitlement, the constant need for more, it wasn't random. It was a plan. She was manufacturing a breakup where she could play the victim, giving her the perfect excuse to run to her ex, leaving me to deal with the emotional and, she probably hoped, financial fallout. I wasn't her partner. I was a stepping stone. My first call was to a lawyer. I explained everything. He was blunt. The apartment is yours. She has no claim. To be safe, give her formal notice to retrieve her belongings. Do everything in writing from now on. Change the locks. Immediately. My second call was to a locksmith. While he worked, I went online. I removed her from my credit cards and suspended her phone line from my family plan. I was systematically dismantling the life I had built for her. It wasn't about anger anymore. It was about damage control. That evening, I sent her a single formal email. It said our relationship was over. She had 30 days to schedule a time to get her personal property, and that a police escort would need to be present to keep things civil. 3 days later, the storm hit. Her phone was off. Her car was declined. Her key didn't work in the lock. The frantic banging on my door started around 3 p.m. When I didn't answer, she started calling from her mom's phone. I picked up. "What have you done?" she screamed. "My phone is off. My card isn't working. You changed the locks. What is wrong with you?" I kept my voice level. "I accepted your decision to walk away. You're no longer my responsibility. I sent you an email with instructions for getting your things." "An email? You in 3 years in an email? Let me in the house right now." "The house is an option," I said. "You were planning to leave anyway, right? Was the plan to move in with your ex and then tell me about it?" The silence on the other end was a confession in itself. I don't know what you're talking about." She finally managed to say, her voice trembling, "I found the lease application and the $23,000 in secret debt. Let's stop pretending this is a breakup. This was a business deal you were trying to back out of. Schedule a time to get your things. My lawyer will be in touch about the fraudulent debt." I hung up. She finally scheduled for the following Saturday. A police officer arrived first, looking bored. I explained I just want to prevent any drama. He nodded. "Happens all the time." She arrived with her mother, both looking at me with daggers in their eyes. She marched past me and started angrily throwing her clothes into boxes, making loud comments to the officer's benefit about how heartless. He didn't react. When she was done with her personal items, she looked around the living room, where she kept her influencer gear, the expensive camera, lenses, lights, and designer bags. "Where is it?" she demanded. "Where's my camera and my bags?" I picked up a folder from the coffee table and pulled out her credit card statements. "This gear?" I asked, tapping the highlighted items. "The camera you bought for $2,000? The lenses for $3,000? The bags that cost almost $6,000? All this?" Her mother stepped forward. "You give her those things back right now." "I can't do that," I said calmly. "These items weren't gifts. They were purchased with debt you hid from me. My lawyer calls it securing assets pending civil litigation. As soon as the $23,000 is paid back, all of these items will be released to you. Until then, they're being held as collateral." She was speechless. Her entire influencer identity was built on that equipment. Without it, she was just a girl with a mountain of debt. She turned to the officer, desperate. "Officer, he's stealing my things." The officer sighed. "Ma'am, this is a civil dispute over property and debt. I can't make him give you anything. My only job here is to keep the peace. You'll have to take it to civil court." Checkmate. The reality of her situation finally hit her. She had lost her safety net, her lifestyle, and the very tools she needed to build her fake future. She left with a few boxes of clothes and a future buried in debt. For the first time in a long time, the apartment was quiet. But it wasn't an empty quiet. It was peaceful